Hello, dear friends. The Week of Solidarity of ALLATRA International Public Movement participants is taking place right now, and we met at the Coordination Center of the movement with such an international group in such a sincere environment and atmosphere, an atmosphere of unity to communicate in a circle of friends, in a circle of like-minded people on the issues that concern us and share our experiences. Therefore, I'm glad to present the participants of our meeting today. This is the respected Igor Mikhailovich Danilov.
Greetings.
Olga.
Greetings.
Alina.
Greetings.
Almira.
Greetings.
Marina.
Greetings.
Vladimir.
Greetings.
The participants of the international public movement from different countries of the world are present here today as well. Greetings. Igor Mikhailovich, let me probably from the very beginning, on behalf of all the people present here and from all the people who are on the other side of the screen, thank you sincerely for your care and your love, for spiritual help, because it's always very timely. And the answers to the questions that concern us are always very valuable and important. And it's great happiness to see how people, guided by the inner Allatra, are transforming themselves and thus transforming the society as a whole. And it's great happiness to feel and see how Allatra is developing within each person and how Allatra is growing all over the world.
Again, Allatra is growing thanks to people themselves. And this is wonderful. And you should thank not me, but people for accepting it, for increasing it. And I thank you all indeed for the fact that today there are more and more free people, really free people, who, like true free bricklayers, build solid bridges from heart to heart, from soul to soul. And today, these bridges have been built across all continents, across all countries. Thank you, friends. And don't confuse it with Freemasons.
Thank you sincerely, Igor Mikhailovich. Today, even more than ever, people understand and feel how much we need to unite on spiritual and moral foundations, and how important it is for us to learn to live together, to interact together, how important it is to spread those spiritual values and to promote examples that would help to establish a dialogue between people and unite people. And here we have people who have already moved from this level of awareness and knowledge to the level of action. And there are, say, questions they encounter, the questions regarding both inner work on themselves and about interaction in the groups. And today we would like to raise and discuss these topics with you. So please, Almira.
You're welcome.
Yes, Igor Mikhailovich. The following question arises. When a group of like-minded people, let's put it so, is small, then all the actions inside take place as if in a coordinated manner. That is, participation in projects, everything actually happens, well, it's clear. But when the number of participants increases, the collectives expand, they become larger, the number of points of effort increases, and here some tensions and disagreements appear. I mean, a desire to manipulate or to dominate arises in people. And in this regard, I would like to ask my question, why is this happening and how can this be avoided?
This is natural, and it has always happened, and unfortunately will continue to happen as long as people remain people. For this not to happen, all participants must see the final goal. There is the ALLATRA movement. What is the goal of the movement itself? What is the horizon to which we aspire? A simple question. After all, it is clear that it is based on the spiritual development of everyone, but the main goal of the movement is a creative and constructive society, the formation of a society in which everyone would like to live. This is indeed the case, and we can all do this, but we can do it together. And when we see this goal, the disagreements disappear. While manipulations, well, guys, as they say, Iblis doesn't sleep. If we take any religion, it has a lot of trends. Whereas Allatra is not a religion. And here, the private interests of many people will manifest themselves all the more. But that's what we are all together here for, so that this doesn't happen, isn't it right?
Of course.
We just have to ensure the cleanliness of our lawn, of the site, the place where we are responsible, and everything will be fine. And you should communicate with people. You should talk to them. You should explain. Many people do these actions because of delusion. Many say, perform these actions, which are wrong, the ones that separate or that lead them away from the path under dictation of some forces. All this is actually, let's say, easy to stop when we see this and not keep silent. The trouble is that when we see someone doing the wrong thing and we are silent, we are not talking about this. But if we want to build a creative and constructive society, and a creative and constructive society is, first and foremost, a single family, a family called humanity, where all are equal and all are free, it means that no one should keep silent. If we see injustice, we shouldn't whisper behind the corners. After all, just look, that very evil, that very division, that very filth, where does it all happen? It happens where there is a shadow. If we remove the shadow, all this disappears in the light. So, a lot depends on us, on all of us who understand, and all of us who strive, not for unattainable horizon, but for the real goal that we have set for ourselves, and that we can achieve together if we want to. Is that right?
Of course.
But to do that, we have to remove the obstacles. We have to remove the things that hinder us. And the main thing is the shadow in which all the dirt is hidden. Let's make sure that it doesn't exist. If someone tries to manipulate society for the sake of their personal interests, we should talk about this openly and to everyone. Then it will all disappear when everything is revealed in reality. ALLATRA is the most open organization to date. Everything that happens, it happens honestly, openly, in front of everyone. Everyone sees and everyone knows. We have nothing to hide, friends. Isn't that right?
It is.
That's right.
So, why do we keep silent and hide the problems that arise in our groups in different places? Well, this is wrong. Let's give things their right names and everything will be fine. Right?
Thank you.
Igor Mikhailovich, there is another clarifying question which our guys face. It seems that before they began to openly oppose the system, everything was fine and they didn't encounter manifestations, say, I don't know, for example, of some competition or envy. And as soon as work and projects begins, then it happens. The system basically slips in such dominant
Problems.
Yes.
Again, this is natural. When a person lives, as they say, our drab, ordinary and mundane life, he is manipulated and controlled by the system. This has been known for centuries and described in all religions. All this has been even preserved, that the devil whispers, but he whispers in our heads, not somewhere else. He doesn't push us and doesn't grab our hands. He doesn't do anything instead of us. It's we who do, while he just whispers, but he whispers in our heads. Isn't that so? It is. But when we are controlled and manipulated by him, he is calm, and we think that everything is fine. And is it good for us when we live like animals? When we live according to the consumer-based format, according to the laws that animals live by, are we animals to live according to such laws? To hate each other, to deceive, to lie, to steal, to take away someone else's? Is that the right thing to do? No, it isn't. And so, when a person understands that this is wrong and he is looking for freedom, inner freedom, there is no freedom in the external. Freedom can only be inside. And when a person even tries to find it, he threatens who? The system itself. What is his threat? That he can become free and take the side of, light forces that bring good, peace and love. And this, like any light, is dangerous to the darkness because it illuminates everything that is going on there. So the system starts to cause problems, doesn't it? But when a person is ready for it, and again, this is exactly the marker that shows that a person follows the right path. When he gets a little bit of freedom, he sees how the system resists. Is there any better proof of the existence of Iblis? And if the devil exists, then God exists too. Isn't that so, my friends? Therefore, everything is very simple. But if you don't give in, everything goes away. They break and stoop those who break and stoop. But if a person is free in spirit, then the system will go away. Not a single shadow comes into the light. Isn't it so? Everything is simple, my friends.
Igor Mikhailovich, there is another question. Women. Somehow there are more women in the group so far. And it turns out that there is very strong competition between women, up to the point that
What are they competing for?
I don't know. For power, I guess.
Over who?
Over a group or... I don't know.
If we take, say, a small bunch of monkeys, what do we see going on there?
Some monkey is always the most important. It draws attention to itself.
Everyone wants to be the main monkey, right?
Yes.
So, when people at the first stages try to get rid of their animal nature and to become truly spiritual and free, still, at the first steps, these hurt feelings are manifested, just like in any animal. Anyone, whoever we take, even wolves, even monkeys, all have these laws. The fight for the alpha female, the fight for the alpha male, all want to manipulate and control someone, either by force or by cunning, or, again, using these shadow games. Someone is good, someone is bad. And why is all that? Because there is a shadow in our groups, my friends. Let's make them full of light, and let's talk openly. Won't we ever agree? We will agree. We can always agree, and any dirt will go away. If we have one goal, if we have one and single aspiration, then, excuse me, we won't pay attention to minutiae. When we want to become alive, when we want to become people, we cease to be beasts. Isn't it so? Is that simple?
It is.
We need to communicate and need to be honest, and ALLATRA, first and foremost, begins with honesty.
Igor Mikhailovich, sometimes, some thought skips through and you're sort of
But the thought will always keep skipping through.
embarrassed to tell it to another person, somehow.
Because, let me explain, you are embarrassed to talk about those thoughts that come, because you consider them yours. And when you clearly understand that a thought comes to you, but you didn't order it, you didn't strive for this, then where can this stupid and bad thought come from?
From the system.
Can it really be from the good? It is from the bad. But if in a group a bad thought comes to someone about somebody or about something, is that good? That means that Iblis, or the devil, whatever we call it, the system, the supreme mind, it doesn't matter. But this creature needs something, and it needs to put this into someone's head in order to bring discord and separation. How does the devil act? It divides and rules. What kind of thoughts are coming? Thoughts aimed at separation. If there are 3 people, 2 people are always against one. Isn't that so? Why does this happen? Because we are silent. But when this thought came to you and you say that this thought was sent to me, you will be surprised that the bigger the group is, the greater the number of people who are sent a similar thought. How many times, my friends, have we encountered this in groups? Lots of times. The same thoughts come to different people. But why do they come? It came to you and you hushed it up. It came to another one and she said nothing. Ultimately, you got used to this thought. You defended the devil. Isn't that so? Which side are you on? On the side of Allah or Iblis? Or God or the devil? Whatever we call it, these are different epithets, but the essence is one. Isn't it so? And when we are silent, and when we do not voice this, we defend Satan. Which side are we on, and where are we going, and what are we striving for? But when you voice what has come to you, but you didn't order this, then you already understand that this isn't yours. Other people also understand that, and when thoughts come to them, they also tell that. Whereas the devil has one weapon, to whisper and impose. But when you put all these impositions, all these intricacies out on the table, he doesn't have a weapon against you. He is powerless. The devil has neither hands nor feet. His hands and feet are our hands and feet, and his tongue is our tongue, which can sting painfully. But the same tongue, if we, as personalities, control it, can speak the words of love. And our hands can build bridges, not destroy them. Isn't that so? So, who is to blame? The devil or we are?
We are.
Therefore, what should be done?
To be honest.
We should be honest. Everything is very simple.
Yes, because when you hush up these thoughts, you store them up again and again, and then you don't want to have anything to do with this person at all. And there is a separation.
That's right. And now you are telling how the system works. But doesn't it happen at home in the family this way?
It's the same.
And then we tolerate, and then we hate each other. And does the devil really want the family to be strong? Does the devil want the group to be strong? After all, it's a danger.
A danger.
A danger to him. But excuse me, if we want to build a creative and constructive society, if we want this world to be like Eden, and we can really do this, and we feel and understand that we can, then why do we serve Satan? A simple question, friends.
Yes, it's a good question.
Maybe we should make a choice, either to serve the devil or to serve God. Who do you serve?
Igor Mikhailovich, thank you for this advice. In our group, we also faced such a problem. We are implementing various projects together, but somehow it happens that there is no internal unity. What else can be possibly done in order for the group to somehow act as a single organism?
You should become a part of the group yourself. First and foremost, see the goal and not notice the obstacles. Remove everything that bothers you guys. Everyone is looking for magic buttons. Everyone is looking for some kind of inspiration or something else, some outside power that would push them. While, in fact, you have all these powers and everything has been given to you. You have everything, my friends. The only thing is that you need to remove that which hinders, and then everything will be there, and everything will work out. To be honest, to be sincere, to be true, to serve only God and not to serve Satan. Everything is very simple. Yes, it sounds religious, but excuse me, today we even have at one table representatives of different religions and of atheism as well, so... Well, isn't that so? But we understand each other, and the most important thing is a desire to understand each other, and the most important thing for everyone is not to forget about the main goal. And we can ensure the future for our descendants. We can either preserve civilization or fail to save it. Everything depends on our choice. What do we choose? To listen or to feel? To serve the devil or God? This is trite. Simple, but true. Only actors in the head complicate. They begin to build tricky schemes, talk about some difficulties in relationships, some misunderstandings. Guys, what misunderstandings can there be if we sincerely want one thing? If we don't care about ourselves, but about all. We care about ourselves already as part of all. It becomes simple after all. Isn't that so?
It is.
Igor Mikhailovich, we also noticed we have to take strategic actions. We meet, discuss, we have such a brainstorming, we have so many ideas, and there is such a great desire and aspiration to implement them. There is such an expanding flow aimed at action. As soon as we parted, a day passes, then another one, and we really feel some inertia arises, as if this wave is no longer there are obstacles.
There is no that power which you have received. And let's tell the truth. When we gather and we sincerely and frankly discuss and strive to do something good for people, when we take the side of the spiritual world, we feel this surge of power. We feel this power, and we understand that we can. And then we parted. Everyone went home or to work. And who overcomes a person? Thoughts.
Iblis.
Thoughts.
That distract to one or another action. And in the end, we become empty. And then it becomes very difficult for us. And let's take a look at this mechanism. Why this happens? We gathered together, let's translate all this into funds. So it's clear to our friends, those who do not live by something greater, but let's say, live by what is material. It will be clear to them that these are funds. So we gathered together, sat at the table and decided, let's build a house. Let's do it. We were given money, while in actual sense, power is given to us for a common cause, and it comes from the spiritual world. We translate it into the equivalent of finance. We were given money to build a house. This power is enough to implement this project. We divided it among everyone who is sitting at the table now, and everyone left with his or her own responsibility. Someone is laying a foundation, someone is dealing with decor, someone else deals with the roof and the like. Everyone must prepare the material and hire workers. We have an architectural plan. We already know what we should do. But the one who was supposed to lay a foundation left, minding his own business. He went into a store, saw a beautiful shovel, shiny and gorgeous. After all, is a shovel needed to lay a foundation? It is needed. He is buying it. This purchase is right, but it is a souvenir. Why would one need a souvenir shovel? Guys, we're building a house. We should have it as a decor, as a symbol of building a house, instead of a real shovel. And then, in addition to this, decor piece, to this symbolic shovel, he needs to buy something else as well, right? Well, for example, a new jacket, jeans, or something else. After all, he should look good. And the same applies to each of us. Instead of buying building materials and tools and doing that, we spend it all on personal interest. Isn't that so? While, what is our daily life? Let's consider it, because we should accumulate in it. What is a family? The family is a quiet haven, where we come full of strength, and we accumulate these strengths. We do not spend them. But at this point, our other half, our children, or something else distracts us. They don't act the way we want them to, and consciousness tells us he is wrong or she is wrong. He or she does a wrong thing or in the wrong way, and we put our attention there. That is, instead of a normal real shovel, we buy it for decor, a souvenir one, right? And then, when the time comes to build a house, it turns out we don't have the funds. But guys, it's not the most important thing. Why do we start feeling bad afterward? Why do problems arise? Because, the one to whom we have given this power is used to consuming a lot. But we gave away someone else's without noticing this. And now he begins to take ours. And here we begin to understand that. It hurts us when he is taking ours. Isn't that so?
Exactly.
And at this point, we begin to suffer, and we understand that something is going wrong. But deep inside, every person understands when the system takes away his vital forces. And this is really so. When everything begins to collapse, and he becomes surrounded by scandals, when a lot of doubts arise in his head. And why do they arise? And why are we getting involved in these unnecessary dialogues of actors in our heads? That is, we finance an illusion. We even, don't buy jeans at someone else's expense with a souvenir shovel already. We spend what is ours on an illusion, on the empty. After all, we spend much more time, energy, on imaginary conversations that don't exist, on a dispute that doesn't exist, instead of coming and talking to a person openly. Isn't that so? And then we have such weird situations in groups, at home, and at work. Because we are liars, my friends. And we waste both what is given to us, and we do not protect our own. Is that simple? After all, it is really simple. After all, the truth is like an open book. It is always publicly available, and it is always accessible to you. The only thing is that actors do not let you take it, because simplicity is perceived as a lie. Such a great and big thing cannot be so simple. It can, my friends. It can. God is very simple, and His power of love reaches every one of us. But not all of us perceive it. We don't perceive it not because little is given to us, but we don't perceive it because we, so to speak, get inclined to the temptations of the devil. Isn't that so? We all want to be alpha females, right? And we quarrel with others and think, who do we think badly about? Let's start in a group, about the one who can be a competitor, about the one who seems smarter to our actors.
More beautiful.
Younger, with longer legs, right? Why does this happen? We have already answered.
Yes.
The habit of consuming, of competition.
Therefore, what should we do, my friends? If we receive, we must preserve and increase, right? Only these people will be pleasing, and more will be given to those who preserve and increase, while those who waste ultimately are no longer given. After all, Who will give money to a spendthrift who not only fails to return it, but demands from you more and more for nothing? Isn't that right? Everything is very simple.
Thank you. Great.
Igor Mikhailovich, but there is also another interesting point. I had this, that our movement is big and we have a lot of different projects, right? There are a lot of things to do. For example, someone is behind the camera, someone is in the camera, someone is washing the dishes, and someone, for example, is making tea. And eventually, consciousness began to divide the tasks into important and unimportant ones. In the end, everything got to the point that now they be put a plus. They will be given a free pass to the spiritual world because we did something.
I'll put it simply. Just because you force yourself to wash the dishes or stand behind the camera, you won't get a free pass. But when you live sincerely, and when you help and understand the whole process, and you can understand the whole process only when you are open, and when you don't live in the shadow, but when you are a source of light, then you understand very well that without washing the dishes and making tea, those who are behind the camera will not be able to stand there for a long time, because they need to have tea. And in order to have tea, you need what? Clean dishes. And any action is a chain of events that we accomplish. Isn't that so? It's not shameful to wash the dishes. Am I wrong?
You're right.
But why do such thoughts arise?
Because of pridefulness.
Because of stupidity.
Because of stupidity, among other things.
Pridefulness is also human stupidity. This is our weakness. This is not our strength. This is the stupidity which Iblis is imposing on us. In the spiritual world, everyone is equal. There are no those who are above or below others. There is responsibility. Yes, some religions divide that there are higher-ranked angels, lower-ranked angels, and the like. How can an angel be above or below other angels? How to measure them? By height? But they have no height.
And not by weight either.
By weight? They have no weight. How to measure? However, there is a responsibility. Speaking our language, there is work. Someone goes where conditions are worse, someone always remains in love. But if he isn't always in love and isn't in that infinite world, he will become finite. Isn't that so? This cannot be. Yet, can we become not like the finite, but like the endless world? We can. Can we build such a world here? We can. And what is needed for this? To remove evil. And everything will be fine, then good will win.
Yes.
Igor Mikhailovich, the following question arises in this regard. We have a lot of different projects in the movement, a lot of tasks, and sometimes, why hide it, we don't have enough hands to implement certain projects. And often a question arises before the participants. What to devote more time to? Meaning,
I understood your question. Efficiency factor, coefficient of performance. We have an ultimate goal. In order for us to achieve it, we carry out a lot of different projects, right? And those projects that are most effective to bring humanity closer to our goal, to our free society, to a global free society, first and foremost of spiritually free people. What needs to be implemented? Those projects that will bring much more useful action, right? That is, you need to be economically competent in this matter.
and when it's not quite it's not always possible to predict this, right? That is, we do not always see how
The ultimate goal.
the ultimate, what chain of events each action causes and how.
Guys, this is not true. We do feel and understand. When you are free and far from doubt, you feel and understand. You understand every step you take, what it leads to and where it leads to. After all, if you need to go, let's say, to your neighbor who lives across the street from you, you don't come out of the house and go to him through the garden. You don't climb over the fence and don't go in the opposite direction. Why? A simple question.
Because I know the shorter way.
Don't you know a shorter way to what we are talking about? Do you not know, when starting one or another project, what it can give? And if implemented, what benefit can it bring to all of humanity? After all, with every step, with every micro-action, in total, that which is implemented for the whole society is formed. I'll put it simply on the example of an economic aspect. If we remove 1 cent, will a dollar be a dollar? No, it will be 99 cents. Isn't that so?
It is.
It is.
So, in order to get the whole, you need a lot of such cents. Whereas each project is in its turn a contribution to the common treasury of good deeds. Right?
That's right.
Everything is very simple.
While participating in projects, you really feel spiritual growth, that with each completed action you become freer, and you see it clearly. And it is so joyful and motivating, but there are so many kind and good people who are still inactive or have not yet begun to be actively engaged. So, how to help people so that they also join and participate, so that they get this freedom?
I'll put it simply. All people are good. It is Satan who makes them bad. How to help them? Simply by your action. Again, to be honest, open, not to lie. Tell the truth and correspond to what they want to see in you. And when they see in you a true, free, honest person, and they, wishing to become the same, will become like that. And if they don't want to, this is their right of choice. A human being is free to serve Satan or to serve God. It is his choice. We cannot persuade, we cannot force, we can offer. And the right of a human is either to take or not to take, either to reject us or to accept. ALLATRA is God's love. It's not easy for everyone to live with this love. If a banal, piggish interest dominates in them. Piggish interest is the interest of a beast, and a human being should not liken himself to a pig wallowing in a puddle of mud, because he is a human. A human is far above a bird. Let's not fall below the pig's level. Is that right?
It is.
Everything is very simple.
Igor Mikhailovich, there is another question. The point is that we currently conduct a lot of social surveys within the framework of the Future is Now project. So one day I was going for a public survey and I understood that I didn't know what to ask. Although I knew the list of questions, somehow I just couldn't get my thoughts together, let's put it this way. And I began to talk and I felt that if the speech began to pour by itself, I started talking to a person and he opened up. And I felt that some kind of flow was coming from him and we had some kind of resonance and we began to talk. We actually had an alive conversation, and so...
That's why it was alive. Because the devil wasn't helping you. Isn't that so?
Exactly.
Once upon a time, to a good person who had brought the knowledge here, his friends came who took over this knowledge from him, and they said, "But how shall we go and tell people about it? After all, we still know little. We are not worthy yet." And he answered them, "Don't worry about this. All you need to do is to open your mouth." Isn't that so?
Exactly.
If you are sincere, and if you stand on the position of the spiritual world, then you needn't worry about what to say. People think and ponder their words and prepare for a speech when they want to fool or outwit someone. Then their assistant is Iblis. But when a person lives by freedom, he only needs to open his mouth and remove the devil from the path. And the speech will flow by itself. But then there is a response from people's souls. Yes, you can also come across a Satan slave, but these are his problems. Then one can feel sorry for him. Well, I would say this is a rare case. This is an extremely rare case when you meet an inevitably dead person, because very many people are potentially alive. Therefore, everything is very simple. You only need to open your mouth.
Igor Mikhailovich, in this regard, is it possible to expand on the question of resonance with other people in a little more detail?
It depends on what you mean by resonance with other people.
Well, it happens so that...
At the level of feelings.
I'll put it this way. If you and I are going to listen to the hardest rock very loudly now, our cells will begin to vibrate in unison. Do you mean this resonance or another one?
No, I mean precisely the internal one.
No, at the level of feelings.
Yes, at the level of feelings.
I was joking. While the resonance at the level of feelings arises when we have a common goal and when we are sincere and honest. Everything is very simple. Right?
Right.
Igor Mikhailovich, also the following happens. The thing is that I noticed that there is, for example, that very public survey. I have sort of done it and I want to say, phew, that's it. I kind of did something. And suddenly, literally after a while, maybe even a few hours, there arises a need to do something else. I mean, we arrange a call with the guys. For example, there arise additional points where we can apply our efforts. And frankly speaking, I begin to get confused somehow, thinking, my God, where do I get time to do all this? I need to do this thing and that one and another one too. So once our National Library of the Republic of Kazakhstan addressed me with an offer for legal services. I went to the meeting, and at the meeting I was surprised because I found out that this library has the entire series of the books by Anastasia Novych. This library is famous for the fact that different religious denominations, culture figures, and the like come there from all over the world, and during their events they discuss what unites people. And I said that I'm a volunteer, a participant of ALLATRA International Public Movement, and I'd like to be directly involved, that is to shoot for ALLATRA TV Kazakhstan, that we have our own television. And I got permission, meaning by this I understand that throughout my professional activity I also get an opportunity to work as a volunteer, that is to complement it with what will be useful for our entire movement. And at that moment, I realized that, when I'm working on the projects, even though the number of them is growing, I get a feeling as if there's an incredible support of the spiritual world.
When we are open, and when we use those funds that are given to us not to purchase unnecessary things, as we have already said, but precisely to build a house, then, we are always given more and more. Again, more funds to build more houses. Yes, it gives a little extra workload. Consciousness starts to be afraid. But if we are guided by the fears of our consciousness, then we will not build anything. Is that right?
Of course.
It is very simple.
Great.
It is also very inspiring that when she came to the library, the knowledge was already there. People already knew about ALLATRA. There had already been people from the movement who had sowed the seeds.
Often when there is a question whether to go somewhere for a meeting with people or something else, and consciousness immediately becomes against. What will you go for, and how will you do this? Guys, there is advice. When the demons in your head start raging, that's why they are called demons, it means that you are on the right path. Is that right?
Yes.
And those who step over them, they face what? The fact that new opportunities open up.
Yes.
And those people understand that if there is a desire and sincerity, despite all the persuasion of consciousness, when you step over the devil, then the spiritual world becomes closer.
Closer.
It is very simple. We must come to it while it is always with us. It's a paradox.
Igor Mikhailovich, and there is another question about a mistake. Consciousness sometimes restrains. For example, my English is not very good. It says, now you're going to write a letter in your poor English and a person won't answer you because it's... And you're like, oh, what if he's such an important person and he's not? Or to do something else?
Let's put it simply. Look, again, a person will not answer, but you did what you could. You acted sincerely. You did what you wanted, didn't you? Again, we will draw an analogy with our house to make it clear. You have built a house, and whether a person will live in it or not is his problem. Is that right? However, you did everything that depended on you. Your conscience is clear. You didn't spend on yourself. You built a house. And then, this is already his problem. After all, often when we do something and consciousness resists, we get exactly the opposite, right?
Yes.
People do answer to a clumsy letter, and it all becomes more alive. Well, is that so?
It is.
And when we doubt or serve to please the minority, then we get rubbish. So I want to ask you. You recorded vlogs, and you helped people a lot, because you were sincere, you were real, you didn't lie and didn't play, you were exactly the way you are. You had questions, and you voiced them. You found solutions, and you voiced them. And then you were criticized by a few people, and you stopped recording them. Do you know that your pridefulness and your fear have prevented so many people from understanding the truth? And you didn't serve the good in that case, but you did evil, because you didn't give fresh water to people who were dying of thirst. Am I wrong? And because of what? Because you were criticized by a couple of people?
Really, it was pridefulness and fear, I know.
I'll make it easier for you. When you stand on this path, be ready for Iblis to rage. He will be like a monkey in a zoo, throwing at you everything he has in his hands. Why? Because it makes him mad, because you're dangerous to him. Isn't it so? It is. Let's have a look. 1,000 people love you and praise you, and a few people have criticized you. You haven't noticed 1,000 light ones because of 2 dark ones. Isn't your consciousness criticizing you? So, as Volodya said, there was a resonance between demons who criticized you and your demons in the head.
Great.
Well, isn't it so?
It is.
Did this resonance win over what you feel? Really? And why do people suffer? Because of only a few scoundrels, both in the head and in correspondence. You see how easy it is.
Well, I realized that it was pridefulness and fear. I understood that.
Okay.
Igor Mikhailovich, you know, it's like some kind of doubt, too.
Do you know what doubt can be there?
For example, what are you going to talk about? You don't feel anything. You're talking and babbling from consciousness.
And we have just discussed, it is consciousness that tells you about it. While you shouldn't talk from consciousness, you should tell the truth and voice what you have. You shouldn't invent and make up stories. There were a lot of vlogs where you were sincere. You didn't invent or make up stories. There were moments, it can be seen, where you added from yourself, tried to show off. But the essence was true, and people perceived it. Didn't it help people? We can open and watch them right now. It did help. Aren't people grateful to you? They are. So why? It's a question. I don't blame, we're all like that. Why do we serve in favor of Satan, paying attention to several of his slaves who resonate with our consciousness, if we know that our consciousness is the devil's tool? It is through it that he whispers and makes us do bad things. And it's not an argument, I emphasize, when it makes us do good things as well. It makes us do this to cover up its dirt and to cover that bad that it does in fact. And it starts doing the good when we control it. When we don't let it step either to the right or to the left without our command. When we keep it on a smooth road. And then it has to lead us to the spiritual world. The devil carries us on his shoulders to heaven, or we carry him all the way to hell and enter it with him. Think, my friends, who are we? Are we riders or donkeys? And this is true. And I suggest you think about whether you are a goat with short legs or an angel.
Why with short ones? An angel.
I don't know why with short legs, but last time we touched on the topic of legs. Although yours are not short. It's a joke.
I know. An angel, of course.
You're good.
Exactly. It's better to be an angel, right?
Igor Mikhailovich, I also wanted to ask, we talk with the guys and there are similar situations. Consciousness says, why ask questions? All the knowledge has already been given, all the videos and books are available.
Everything is there and everything is given to people.
Everything is there. Where's the substitution here?
And a tremendous help comes to those who are open and who want it. Everyone around the world, regardless of religions and everything else. Everyone feels and everyone understands. But again, I'll put it simply. We are sitting on a lawn. There is a water source next to us. Everything is there. But sometimes we are too lazy to bend over and scoop up some fresh water. We want someone to give it to us. There is such a thing.
Yes.
But if someone doesn't give it to us, we may die of thirst. Therefore, it's better to give it so that many can live, right?
Right.
Igor Mikhailovich, there is another difficulty that we face when implementing the projects. This is, let's say, probably the adequacy of communication with people. How can we speak such a language so that society understands us and people don't put labels on us?
It depends on what labels they put. Do you mean sectarianism and everything else?
Yes.
Guys, as a matter of fact, everything is very simple. The spiritual part is shared by those who live and who strive for this. But what is the essence of the movement? To build a free, creative and constructive society.
A creative and constructive society.
Right? What is needed for this? The implementation of what? First of all, at this stage, to find out whether people need this, whether we should spend our time on this or not. But we need to interview a larger part of the world's population. If they want this and strive for it, that means we can engage in this as well. Hence, this will be given. While if they don't want this and don't accept this, then why should we spend time on it, right? Then we will forget about them, forget about all kinds of labels, and focus on the spiritual development of ourselves and on helping our nearest and dearest. Are we going in the right direction? What for? For creating, at least, such a micro-Eden for those who want to live, if we are not building a creative and constructive society. We won't discuss this topic anymore. It is clear to everyone. Yet, how to convey to people the very idea of a creative and constructive society, so that humanity would move from a consumer format to a creative and constructive one? We should talk to people about a creative and constructive society. Why approach a person and talk about the spiritual if he doesn't want this? If we are talking about the project of forming a creative and constructive society, we should talk to a person about a creative and constructive society. If we talk about physics, we should talk about physics. If this is acceptable to a person, he will join these projects and implement them anyway. And after joining, if he wants to develop spiritually, he will. After all, this is an integral part of the movement, right? But the essence and meaning of the movement itself is, not spiritual guidance. It is the will and choice of every person. If he wants to, he accepts. Moreover, ALLATRA is not a religion. It contains the essence of all religions. If he wants to, he accepts it. He can remain in his religion. He can remain anywhere and in any position. He can be an atheist who rejects any religion, but at the same time, be a good person and strive to change the world for the better. This is our friend, right?
Yes.
Because he seeks creation. And you need to speak with people the language they understand if we are talking about the project Creative and Constructive Society. This is a project for everyone. It is one, right?
Right.
Whereas, if we talk about ALLATRA as a spiritual foundation, this is a bit different, right? This is intermixed, of course, and the essence is one. But if people gain freedom, if they get liberated from their material dependencies, they will come themselves. They will come to understand both God and much more. And we will also show by our example.
We need to throw away the souvenir shovel.
It's already up to you.
It's better not to buy it.
We have chosen you just as an example, sorry, not as a real-life fact. So you can throw it away, or you can keep it. But in general, on the other hand, even if you purchased a souvenir shovel at someone else's expense and you throw it away, you will act silly. Give it to society as a souvenir of your stupidity, and let it be an example for others, so that people see that they shouldn't do so, right?
Yes.
Do good.
There is one obstacle on the path of development, as well as in projects. You feel that you really can do a lot, and at the same time you feel that you really want this very, very much. You are striving. You see the goal and see no obstacles. And you have such experience and you regularly try this. But what does consciousness say? It says that you mustn't act this way. You must act little by little, carefully. Otherwise, if you rush at this speed, pridefulness will cover your eyes and you will not be able to distinguish the alive from the dead. So, where is the point of entry here?
Point of entry where?
Well,
Into the system.
Into the system. It's just the point of entry into the system. It's when you start listening to and start slowing down. Do you understand?
Doubts.
When instead of running, you stop and start moving very, very slowly. Because it says little by little, right? Thinking over every step, what are you without me? Where will you go without me?
you should consult.
Or maybe you should get rid of this guide. If you feel and live by this, then be free. As for those who slow you down, you should remove them from your way, as we have already discussed, and then everything will work out.
You mean totally?
And what for? At least remove such advisors in your head, right? To achieve the goal, you have to remove obstacles, and then everything will work out. The main obstacles are in our heads, again, in the form of small imps that whisper, but we put their whisper into action. We should stop being controlled puppets. We should live freely, be honest and free, right? Then everything will work out.
So, Igor Mikhailovich, does only this whisper hinder us and the fact that we pay attention to it?
No, the fact that we pay attention and implement this whisper into reality hinders us.
What it whispers?
We execute orders.
Of course, I'll put it simply. Let's go back to the previous conversation, to the previous video. Just imagine, your husband comes in while you are sitting next to a frying pan, and the voice in your head tells you, take the frying pan and hit him. If you do that, will it be good or bad?
Very bad.
Right. And you feel and understand that you should cook food for him in this frying pan and serve it. Will it be good or bad?
Good.
Right. So is it clear where it's good and where it's bad?
Where she invested.
It is clear. Is it clear that we shouldn't listen? It is clear. So, why do we often do the opposite?
Probably because we still consider them to be ours. Somewhere my thought will sneak out.
And that's where the trouble is. My thought, your thought. You feel one thing.
One thing.
You observe a stupid thought and understand that it is stupid and it's not yours, but you implement it. Just stop. Take this frying pan when you already start swinging at him and cook food in it for your husband. Everything is very simple.
Not so long ago, we discussed one issue. I think it concerns many people. There is such a situation when consciousness often turns the inner love, the inner feelings, into the external. I mean, many of us are looking for some manifestations of love, care, goodness from the outside world.
Again, you've said, many of us are looking for, but they don't seek to be a source. Who is looking for in the head, and who is selfish in a person?
Consciousness, it's clear.
That very Iblis. Perhaps you should stop serving him. No matter what it imposes on you and how it argues, you actually feel and understand that this is a lie. Who understands that it's a lie?
Consciousness.
Does consciousness understand consciousness?
It understands that this is consciousness.
Or personality?
It's like a play of actors.
The play of actors is when you hear and observe, and you understand that the actors are playing. But who is the one who sees and hears? This is personality. Is it difficult? Is it difficult to stand up in the hall when you watch a performance? It's impolite, indecent. Everyone is sitting watching the action while you stand up. Yet you stand up because you are free. You understand that it's not yours. You turn around and leave. Is it difficult? And everything starts with honesty. Again, we go back to the same thing. First of all, towards ourselves. We shouldn't lie and shouldn't listen to the fairy tales it tells. Just recall. Again, we will return to such a classical example, when the devil was persuading, even, excuse me, God's messenger. Bow down before me, and I will give you the whole world. But why would he need this world? Why did he not bow and become the king of kings? A simple question. Because he knew it was dust. Do you want to be a king over corpses, over dust? You will lead the dead.
Of course not.
Why?
Because this is not life.
Yet, why in your life do you strive to be a king over corpses? Why do you listen to what they tell you and they rule you? After all, he whispers and tells you how to become a king over corpses. He provokes this desire in you. And I ask you a straight question, while you say no. Is it difficult?
No.
When you don't lie. So, stop lying and don't play in the shadows. Live under the sun and be the sun, and everything will be very simple, for you actually feel, know, and understand. Yet, why do you not act? Why do you roll down like a lost ball somewhere under a bush into a shadow? Are you really a ball?
No.
You are a human, right?
Yes.
And as one good person said in his time, a human is superior to birds. So you should be superior to birds, but not inferior to pigs.
Thank you.
Igor Mikhailovich, for the 9th of May, we have scheduled a tremendous conference. And at the previous conference, on May 11th, we declared that we wanted to gather the whole world on the 9th of May. Yet now we understand that we're not quite at the point so that really the entire...
At which you wanted to be, right?
Right, the entire humanity would come, but...
Wait, who told you that the entire humanity would come in a year?
We really hoped for that.
We set the goal.
You said we wanted, but you haven't implemented your wish. Where did the problem arise? Doesn't the rule of 6 handshakes work? It does.
It does.
Yet, why has this happened? And here, we have discussed today that you got ignited, you got the power, then you went and spent it wherever everyone wanted. And it turns out that the 6 handshakes that were supposed to work don't actually work. And why does it turn out that they don't work? Because we get distracted by earthly, commonplace, everyday things. After all, thousands of people from all over the world were connected to that conference. If everyone really used the 6 handshakes, and if they used them in order to convey this love, this power, and this understanding to other people, but in such a way, so that those people would get ignited and convey it to 6 more people each, believe me, there would have been the whole world. However, this hasn't happened. Why? Because we are merely humans. We need to come out of the dirt to understand that we are humans and become humans. It's not important how many people will gather. It's important what kind of people they will be, alive or dead. The dead ones won't do anything. Let it be not the whole world, but a part of it, but let they be alive and active, and they will be able to overturn the entire world. Why? Because they are that point, that pillar, as Archimedes said, and that lever which can turn this world upside down. That is what is important, isn't it?
Yet, now we still have 2 months in stock.
Right.
So, what can we do now in order to unfold our potential to the utmost and approach our goal to the maximum?
You can be honest and open. Do everything that depends on you. And again, not listen to those who whisper, let's not run, but let's walk slowly and reasonably, as we have talked with you earlier. Isn't that so?
It is.
You should just act.
Act.
And everything will work out.
Igor Mikhailovich, may I ask another question? I think it would be appropriate to talk on the topic of Islam a little bit. The thing is that we have a project, as you know, Islam Religion of Love, and there are a lot of participants. Lately, a lot of live blogs have been released on this topic. Thus, people sincerely share what they began to understand, thanks to the primordial knowledge given in the books by Anastasia Novych, and thanks to the videos with their participation. But the thing is that once I attended quite a large-scale meeting and started talking about this very project, what we reveal and what we talk about, and I told them straight, just as it is, that Islam is actually, let's say, the religion of love, meaning Islam is reconciliation. It was given to people as a means of reconciliation, and that Islam should actually be all over the world. To that, the following question was asked. Yes, we sort of understand everything. Everything's logical, everything is right, everything is sort of interrelated. However, why isn't Islam all over the world yet? What prevents Islam from being all over the world?
Iblis. And what prevented people, let's say, from accepting Islam initially? And what prevented them from accepting Christianity? And what prevents people nowadays not from accepting, but from using the opportunity given in ALLATRA? The difference is huge. The difference is really huge. What prevents a starving person dying of hunger from satiating himself and not dying? Nothing except Iblis. Isn't it so? Islam is indeed the religion of love. It is the last, greatest religion. And Islam should have been all over the world. But people have interfered. People have divided the whole. Then they divided it again and later on again. And it is no longer the whole. They have forgotten that the Prophet was appointed by Allah. Allah gave him. He sent the Quran for all people. He sent God's love. But they started dividing it in their personal interests. That's why there is no love all over the world. Isn't that so? Because human things have been added there. It's a pity. But again, all this is in people's hands, to cast away all the chaff and do what the Prophet ordered. I just don't understand. Why do people who call themselves Muslims believe the same people as they are more than the Prophet himself?
Right.
Why do they do what other people, often controlled by Iblis, tell them, but they don't do what the Prophet entrusted them? I don't understand this. How can it be like this? And why in Christianity there is what Jesus said, whom they pray to, and for them he is a prophet, he is God's son, but they don't do what he entrusted them. Yet they behave completely differently. They behave as other people told them, those who followed and distorted what Jesus had said. Therefore, such religions have been formed in our world, which brought a sea of blood. They brought not love, but evil. They seized what belonged to others instead of giving their own. Yet they could give what the prophets were given, what Jesus was given. Jesus brought God's love. And pardon me, a lot of various branches were built on this by dividing the whole into a multitude of rivers,
By fragmenting.
and they keep dividing it to this day. Guys, perhaps it's time to gather all these rivers into one ocean. It's time to stop lying. They say, these are pagans, those are pagans. Do you know who a polytheist is for me, so to say? The one who says, my religion has the right God, while yours has a wrong one. Yet, pardon me, when we have mono-religions, when we believe in one God, then how can I deny if I belong to this religion and believe in one God, and he believes, for example, and you believe in one God? How can I deny you and your religions, not perceive and say, yes, we have our own religion, we believe in one God, single God, we will get saved, while you will not?
Right, all of us actually originate from one source.
Here is a simple question. How? If you believe in God, in single God, then why do you believe in other gods, endowing other religions with the status of polytheism, so to say? Don't they actually believe in this very God? Or what are we fighting for? For epithets and names? Let's just give a simple example. This is the color which is called chorny in Russian. These inclusions have this color. How does it sound in English?
Black.
Black. I say chorny in Russian, and she says black. The one who doesn't know black won't understand what she has said. Isn't that so? Or the one who doesn't know the word chorny, but knows black. So, will we change colors, or what? I don't understand this.
Black is black.
Why do we create lots of rivers? But we do create them, and we support them. After all, these rivers, rivulets, streamlets, they are full-flowing just because we are stupid. Isn't that so? If we love God, if we feel His love, we must become united waters. There is no other way if God is one for us. Whereas, if we divide Him, what kind of believers are we then? Whom do we serve? And here, you shouldn't lie either. Then you shouldn't call yourself either Muslims or Christians. You should honestly call yourself Satanists, because the earthly is much more superior for you than what the prophets have brought here. And don't mention their names in your prayers. They are too high for you to mention them with your tongues, which you serve the devil with. Am I wrong? Be honest. And then we will understand how many people serve the devil and how many people serve God. We know anyway. We don't even need to understand this. But our task is to change the situation, and we do our best in this regard. Let's abandon sad things and talk about something good, not painful, because when a human body feels a disease, it's easy to cure it. But when a disease is felt by, let's say, that which is superior to the body. The treatment is different there.
Thank you.
Let's talk about peaceful things and about those opportunities which we still have. If you have questions, please ask.
If there are no questions at the table, we can ask the guys in the hall. Maybe they have questions.
Igor Mikhailovich, so should I continue making videos?
This is your choice. It's your business and your choice.
I know.
Nobody can either force you or we can suggest, we can talk.
Right, suggest.
I've given you an assessment. After all, thousands of people have really received help from you. And how many have criticized you, driven you into doubts and made you quit? Give the numbers.
Those were rather actors in my head who criticized me.
Absolutely right. What we listen to is what we are. Don't listen to stupid things. When you do something for people and bring benefit, and you want this, just do it. But if you don't want to, don't do it.
Got it.
It's your right.
Thank you.
It's your choice.
Thank you.
That's the point, to be free. Free in everything.
May I ask one more question?
Go ahead.
Fine, you're acting. Yet, how will you understand that you don't mess it up? This very point, that it's afraid of mistakes.
And you are now answering, it's afraid of mistakes. Let it be afraid. I'll put it simply. It's better to make a mistake while doing something. You can correct it. But when you haven't done anything, you even have nothing to correct.
Nothing.
Everything is simple. Either be free or serve Satan. Don't lie.
Right.
That's when everything will be fine.
Otherwise, it's neither here nor there.
Eliminate what hinders you on your path. Then the path will be smooth and clear. Right? This is very simple. And your doubts are just as stupid as thoughts. Do you really have doubts in yourself?
No. Yes. Well, no, but I shouldn't.
And we have now seen the entire phenomenon. And for as long as we listen to the first, second or third actor, why does a whole circus talk instead of you in your head? And where are you? You should decide.
Igor Mikhailovich, may I also make a little addition? We've talked about a group and what to do in order for a group to work as a single organism. And I would also like to know how important is it not only to implement projects together, but also to do those very meditative practices.
I'll put it simply. All meditative practices, prayer practices, doesn't matter what kind of rituals or something else, they are done by people's will, aspiration and desire, you see? Whereas in our projects, again, there participate people of various religious views, beliefs and trends, as well as atheists. So, do they all need to sit in some practice? And what practice will we take? Or what prayer will we choose that would unite everyone?
And if these are people who are united by exactly one goal and who are interested in the spiritual?
Guys, then it's your choice. If this is pleasant and interesting to you, and you supplement each other, go ahead, be free and easy in your actions. If you want this and you like it, you can act this way as well. And again, on the spiritual path, it's much more fun.
Together.
With someone.
Together, right. It's cheerful to stride together.
And easier.
And easier, of course. And again, those very attacks, those very foolish things that sneak into your head, if you don't hide them, if you voice them and understand that it's not yours, they no longer sneak because you bring them to light together. All these games in the shadows. And there is more light in your head, and practices are better, and prayers are deeper, right?
Right.
There is less selfishness, fears go away, doubts and stupid things dissipate, and again, the horizon is approaching, and everything becomes clearer. And most importantly, you begin to accumulate more and more love, which warms you and gets multiplied. Is that bad?
This is very good.
That's what I mean too.
Thank you.
But again, you are free in your choice.
Igor Mikhailovich, I want to learn to love so much, but how? I don't succeed.
You love yourself, but you don't love others. What do you mean to learn to love? A simple question. Many people say, how can we learn to love? Don't you really feel God's love? And haven't you reciprocated His love? So, can you do this?
I can.
Then why are you sitting and lying? Feeling sorry for yourself?
Not anymore.
Or is this greed? Or is this greed? You want more and more. Who says these words and who sows these doubts?
Consciousness.
Except Iblis.
Iblis.
And if we decipher them, it will sound as follows. How to make the source inexhaustible for us, to devour and devour to infinity. Look into yourself. You need to go to the spiritual world and make an effort, and the love that you receive should be returned by multiplying it. Then you will obtain even more. It will be returned 100-fold. Isn't that so? While everything that you give to the devil, that's as if you throw it in a trash bin.
This is so.
He will take yours as well, not only someone else's. But he starts screaming and sowing doubts. After all, now you don't love. Who says you don't love now? And who has said that you don't feel this love now?
Someone who has no idea about it.
So, don't you know how to love?
I do.
Everyone does, if they don't lie, and if they don't serve Satan. It's enough to turn around or step over him, to open yourself to the spiritual world in your love, and then it will come to you. Is it difficult? Guys, it's very easy to live. You should just be alive.
Great. Guys have questions too, Igor Mikhailovich.
Go ahead.
Igor Mikhailovich, your words resonated very much when in one of the videos you revealed the essence of the parable about the prodigal son. And this depth of love of the spiritual world was felt. And so, for those who might not have watched this video yet, for those who have read the books by Anastasia Novy, got ignited, but consciousness led them away into daily routine, into their career or something else. So for those who maybe even took part in projects, but for some reason left this path, and consciousness now tells them, what are you doing? That's it, you'll never see heaven. Don't even think about appearing in front of the participants of the movement. They will laugh at you. And what can be said to such participants?
Anyone has the right to fall, but they also have the right to rise. People are free. And the loser is not the one who fell, but the one who didn't rise. And again, if we talk about ALLATRA, its doors are open to everyone. They are open even to those who are full of doubt, and those who serve the devil. And who doesn't serve the devil? A simple question, at least occasionally, or from time to time, right? So, why are those who have fallen, or who are in greater doubt, worse than us? A simple question. Will we close the door to our sister or our brother? Of course not, if they are sincere. But if they come to litter our lawn, guys, we are cleaning up our lawn after all. Why litter it? If they come to clean it with us, you know, like, as Kat Matroskin said, joint work for my benefit. Well, in this case, for our benefit, brings us closer. Isn't it true? It is true.
Thank you so much, Igor Mikhailovich.
There is another question.
We now have more and more participants in Latin America. And since we know that there are many volcanoes, glaciers are melting, and there are already many earthquakes, many people are concerned about the question how to live, realizing that everyone's normal life will change. People, even if they have already put aside the alarm, just ask the question, how to live now? Is it worth living this daily life now? Is it worth making plans, creating families, giving birth to children, thinking about how to raise children? People just ask a simple question. What do we do now? How do we live our lives now?
I have a question for them. You know, I will answer this question with another question. If we are building a creative and constructive society and want to build it, why do we do it? Maybe we don't have to do it. Look, how much time and energy we will save, won't we? We can spend it on our own selfish goals of our movement and on the selfishness of each of us. Well, we can help Volodya build his house, for what he has is not a shovel, but a damn useless thing, for instance. A simple question. If we are going to build a creative and constructive society, then who are we going to build it for? If we are not going to build families, if we are not going to have children, then why do we need this future if there is no one to live in it? Guys, if these people are filled with doubt and don't want anything, it's their choice. But if they strive for the best and feel they can, why change their lifestyle? If they can improve the future, and really create better conditions for their families and their descendants. Is that bad? It's a simple question. Or we will build the future, but there will be no one to live in it. What kind of creative and constructive future is that without people? Neither people nor angels.
Another question, please.
May I ask, Igor Mikhailovich?
Of course.
The thing is that a lot of people ask a question about the value of life, but the answer is immediately self-evident. Seemingly, what can be the value of life? Life itself, but maybe something else can be added.
And what could be more valuable?
Right.
And what is life for a human in this world? To propagate, plant a tree, and build a house? And then what? To die? So what is the difference between a human and an animal? His cunning, sophisticated mind, and that's it? And why is a human dual as opposed to any animal? Why is there both divine nature and the inevitably dead in him? After all, it's a fact and it's true.
Of course.
But what a person develops, that's what he is, right? And what can be more valuable than life? If we spend a lot of time on illusion, then we don't fulfill something in this world. If we spend all our time, energy and attention entirely on this world, as on the reality we perceive, we don't fulfill the main thing. And it passes just as fast as the same illusion in the head, doesn't it? It's enough for anyone to look back and see where yesterday is, where a year, 2, 3 years ago are, and everything else. Everything flies by instantly, the same way the future will fly by. And then what? So, what is more important? But everyone does feel inside that we are trapped here. These are not our conditions. That we came here, let's say, not to die, but to gain life. Don't people feel this? They feel and know this when they look inside and stop lying to themselves. So, what can be more important here than life? Propagation or something else? Building houses? We have built them a lot. There are a lot of houses, a lot of children, a lot of everything, of trees. Well, fewer of them now. We have cut them down, but we planted them after all. Yet, where are angels? Thus, we have to change something, right? That's the trouble. And then people have doubts about it. Do we need to build families? Not because they don't want to build families, but because they are afraid for their future, that there are changes in climate and changes everywhere and all around. And people feel this despair that is coming. And again, they themselves create conditions, and they themselves are afraid of this. So, change the conditions, and everything will change. Everything is in our hands. You shouldn't listen to your enemies. You should listen to those who give life. You shouldn't serve the one who kills. You should serve the one who gives life and the one who loves you. Isn't that right? Don't we know that? Yet, why do we act differently? Why do we divide one into many? Because we listen. It's time to stop. It's time to create. The time has come to collect. And we will see what we collect. But then again, it all depends on people's choice. We will collect either the whole or the ashes.
Let's continue then. Guys, questions?
May I ask a question? I feel this desire to somehow bring joy into this world more, and I myself, to do something good together. But there are such moments when consciousness is more active too. That is, it says, everything is bad, it sort of won't work. And how at these moments, let's say,
At such moments, you can continue falling into melancholy, love yourself, and feel self-pity up to deep depression, become selfish. Right? Or what should be done? No offense, you do know the answer, and you know what to do. Don't you know what to do at these moments? Tell us. Stand up, please, and say it loudly. Come on, please. If you are too lazy to stand up, I can stand up with you. Do I not have to? For you to be seen. Tell us, what should be done at such moments?
Well, just to turn towards love and not to be...
You see, friends, how simple everything is. And it turns out that we know everything. And it turns out that everything is there. We just need what? All the tools are given. We just need to use them, right?
Right.
You see how wonderful it is. Guys, we all know everything. And we all understand everything. I mean our ALLATRA, our movement, and everything else. But what is hindering us? Nothing, actually. There are no obstacles we wouldn't be able to overstep, isn't it so?
It is.
It is.
And on this cheerful note, guys, let's finish our meeting.
Thank you.
And let's take it as a rule to tell the truth, to be honest. First of all, with ourselves and with our friends. You don't have to be honest with your enemies, but with your friends, you should be honest and open. Let's ignore the obstacles on our way. Go cheerfully to the appointed goal and love each other at that. Thank you all. Thank you sincerely.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Igor Mikhailovich.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Igor Mikhailovich.
Thank you, my friends. I understand there are a lot of questions everyone wants to ask, but I have just... Thank you. We have demonstrated together that it turns out that we know everything and we understand everything, right? We just don't want to use it sometimes.
And why, Igor Mikhailovich?
Because we,
Serve the wrong side
sometimes, correctly, we shift responsibility onto someone and forget about ourselves. You see, we know everything, my friends, and we know how to do everything.
No questions.
And this shows that we can do a lot if we want to. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Igor Mikhailovich.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, guys.
Thank you.